they have not yet decided yet, if they are still in the deciding mood, then we can have another session on. There's again a YouTube link that I can provide to you, because I've tried to solve most of the questions that keep on coming as FAQs to me, and I keep on answering every one of you. But then I made a video out of it, and many answers are available there. So if any of one of you is in the deciding mood, please do let me know. I'll share the link of that YouTube video with you for all those who are giving the exam. Okay, let's start the session. Okay, so why MRCOG? We know that it's the gold standard exam, and that's the only reason why when I thought that only 2 to 3 people will come to me, ask me about it, I actually got around 200 queries in one night. 200 queries in one night. So that was a tremendous response. That actually means that in the future, in next 5 years, you'll find that around half of the gynecologists will be MRCOG, because only the seniors will not be having, those who have not given MRCOG, only those will be the people who will not be MRCOG. Otherwise, everyone who has come into the profession now is going to be MRCOG, and you will be competing. Though you are MS, you are DGO, you will be competing with people who have done MRCOG, and you know how the private practices are stopping now and the corporates have started taking up. And these degrees really matter when you go into the corporates, right? And that's why MRCOG. And part 1 is only the beginning. Just like we have series of movies, part 1, part 2, part 3. Yes, it is just the beginning. It's not even a story told about MRCOG. So part 1 requires the least of the efforts, but yes, they are difficult for a gynecologist or someone who is practicing, because the questions that are there in part 1, the syllabus that we'll be handling in part 1 is something which we have read only in our MBBS. So we are not very much used to reading anatomy, not very much used to reading biochem, physio. And that is why part 1 seems difficult, but believe me, the pass rate of part 1 is tremendously better than what you get in part 2 and part 3. Yeah. If you ask me whether you should be taking courses for MRCOG, when I gave the exam, there was no course at all. I have been telling this in many of my videos, if you are following me, that many a times I used to go through the RCOG members list and find out Indian names, and I used to message them. I used to find them on social media somewhere, somehow, and then I used to message them and get information on how to give the exam, what are the books that are important, and it was very difficult, let me tell you. And it is not worth giving that much of time to finding out what is important for an exam. And now I would say that you all are really lucky to have people who have already done MRCOG and who can give you what is required, and you just have to study that. The only thing is the syllabus is so vast in part 2 that even if I try my level best, or even if 10 of the mentors they come together and give you all the material, it is still impossible to cover part 2 syllabus. But in spite of that, people do pass part 2 also, because you just have to cover 65% of the paper. So you just have to have 65%. Same is with part 1. So mostly the passing range is around 62 to 65%. Okay. So do not worry if you don't know everything about. And also in MRCG there is a pattern. There's a pattern of giving exam, of asking questions. So if you know the pattern, if you follow the recalls, and if you follow the group, you will realize that there are few type of questions that keep on coming every time. There are few things that they are really focused on, and if you just follow it, you will be easily able to pass your exam without much unnecessary efforts. So that is where the courses help in. The course, and all the people who are there outside India also, who take courses, like in UAE we have people who take courses, but somehow the accent, or sometimes they are not that approachable for the Indian candidates. And sometimes yeah, maybe that was the one of the reasons, yeah, when I gave the exam, that it was, I think, one of them were available, only one mentor was there, but somehow I could not connect to him. But now fortunately we have many. The main reason why you should be taking course is it can help in guidance. So I cannot teach you anatomy because I'm not an anatomy lecturer. Nobody can teach you physio, biochem, because you all are gynecologists and we are also gynecologists. So we only study for the part of giving exam. So that is, those questions will be discussed, those things will be covered. Of course, we'll be focusing more on what is asked. There'll be more focus on guidelines now. Okay. So if you see in the last recall paper why many people failed last time, there was a lot of failure rate last time, and the only reason was, in the previous papers they used to ask recalls. Recalls means uh, the questions that were asked in the previous papers. Okay, so the same questions used to come again. There were repeated questions, but last time they changed it completely and they asked questions from the guidelines. So though part 1 people felt that the questions are new, they are not actually new. They are very easy questions for part 2 candidates because they are just basic guidelines. They are just asking you the definitions, they are just asking you the basic treatments, which are very much available in the guidelines. Only if you have read the guidelines you can write the answers. So once you decide to give MRCG, do not look back. It is going to take your time. It is going to take a lot of effort. There's, if you find people, I myself, when I was going through the journey, I found 2-3 colleagues who told me that I just gave the exam and I passed it. Believe me, that's not true. I know so many people who keep on telling that no, that it's not that difficult, and you can easily pass with 2 months of study. You can easily, yes, for part 1 sometimes if you sit, it is true, but if you ask for the total journey of part 2 and 3, you have to have some dedicated time. So before you start your journey, I would always want to tell you that give this exam only when you are really free of your, if you are a very busy clinician, find out the time when you have a slack period for giving your part 2, and accordingly you plan your part 1. Okay, so once you decide, make a schedule of how we are going to give your part 2 and part 3. So do not give part 1 for the sake of just giving part 1 and finding out whether you can give MRCOG. The reason why I'm telling you is because I gave in the same way. I thought, like, let's find out if I can pass my part 1. But yes, then again, once you're in that, you have to keep your practice away. You have to really run after the degree, because you don't want to, whatever you have studied for your part 1, you don't want to lose it again. some of it is going to be there in your part 2. So you have to be in continuous focus. You have to be in a mode of study once, because it is difficult to go from a practice mode to study mode, and then again go from study mode to practice mode and come back to part 2 again. I know so many people who have given part 1 and they write in their degrees that they have cleared MRCOG part 1. That is not legal, but yes, but I can find out that it's happening with so many people that they give part 1 and then they don't give part 2, or they fail part 2 in their first attempt and then they don't attempt back because it costs around 50,000 rupees. And again, sitting at home and studying is again costs much, because then you're losing patients, you're losing your salary if you're in a job. So nobody wants to do that. So that is why I'm saying that you schedule. Then of course dedication, whatever, since we are all doctors, I know that you know about how to study once you decide. Now coming to the exam which you are focusing on, that is the main important thing, right? And that is the 18th January. If things go really very well, which are looking in a better position now, I think we will be able to give this 18th January exam. Somebody just wrote that they can't hear me. Can you all hear me, guys? If you can't hear me, there is something in GoToMeeting which is called as commuter mode. On the right side, you'll find 3 buttons. Just press on that. You'll find commuter mode and you have to exit commuter mode. Sometimes it's because of the commuter mode that you are not able to listen to. Okay. So coming to the exam which you're giving, the eligibility deadline is already over. Unfortunately, this is the only exam where the 2 exams are so near, just 3 months apart, that we as mentors did not have time to tell you about the eligibility deadline. Otherwise, it is there is a 6 months gap. So we know we are almost done with the first batch. Then we know that we have to take care of the people who are going to give the next exam. So we keep on telling about the eligibility deadline, because of so much of uncertainty this time, the deadline is already over. And I hope that those who were focusing on the January exam must have already had their eligibility confirmed. After that, your bookings, though they said that they were open some days back, they have written a date, some 17 September or something they had written, but now they have changed it to be confirmed. So of course they will be opening the bookings. Don't worry about that. So you start your studies, because I would say that for part 1, even if you keep yourself in the study loop for 2 to 3 hours in the start, it's more than enough. I would still say that until you book your exam, because now I can see that there is a lot of competition in booking the exam. And now because the exam is computerized, you will have only few centers where you can give the exam. Before it was a written paper exam, and now it is going to be a computerized exam. So if you can find out that having a computerized exam requires a lot of human resource, right? A lot of man force, which the RCOG people will require time to gain. And that is why so many people who have appeared for part 1 and who have already booked the exam, many of them have had their exams cancelled, because the Pearson view through which they are going to conduct the exams, they are not able to accommodate so many candidates. So there is still a chance that even if you have had your eligibility confirmed, you may not get a slot. Okay, so that is why I'm saying that do not schedule things from now itself. The day you book your exam, then maybe you can think of taking leave a week before the exam, like whatever things that are coming up as per your schedule, you may keep your schedule in that way. But before you book your exam, in the previous classes, we never used to have this point because this was not at all important. But now, yes, getting a seat has itself become a competition. It itself is just like giving an exam. So yeah, I'm sure that this must be really very stressful, that whether to give the exam or not to give the exam is something that is little scary in the start. But yes, if you keep your books ready, if you know that you have to give exam one or the other day, maybe not now, not after 3 months, maybe after 6 months, you keep your books ready, which I'll be showing you, of course. Find out how to read, keep on solving the questions, and it is not going to harm you in any way. Okay, so as soon as the booking applications open, and how do you know that the booking applications are open? See, when we were giving our exams, we had a different way of booking. And because things have changed, and because you are the one who will be giving the exam, they will be contacting you. So I unfortunately will not be knowing unless they put it on the site. So please keep on checking your mails. Please keep on checking your mails, because when I gave my part 3, we had this option that they told us that they'll be sending us mail on a particular day, and I did not know that I had to click on that mail within first 30 seconds. Believe me, I did not find out that I got a mail, and I clicked on, I thought that I'll just find out after I have my dinner, and that is the time when they send it to us in India because of the time difference. And when I found out that 9:30 that the mail was already there in my inbox from 9:15, and I have not checked it since last 15 minutes, I found out that I am not eligible to give the exam. And that is why I would want to tell you, please keep on checking your mail every now and then, whenever you get time, maybe every 1 hour, every 2 hours. So in the timings of their office time, so which is from 10 to 5. And if all of you are in India, then maybe for us it is the check the time zone, and mostly they give around 2 to 30 p.m. That is the timing that that we have coordinated with the UK timing. So try and keep on checking your mails after 2:30 till 10 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever is the time that you can keep on checking every day, because they can send you mail any point of time. Fortunately, there have been there have been people who have been coordinating on the groups. So because you all are in the group, and you know that if you have people with you who are giving the exam, if you all decide that anyone who knows about the exam is going to write on the group, it will always be helpful to others. So that's the best way. We decided in that way. We had a group and we messaged each other that the mail has come, and that's how we got a seat. Otherwise, it was difficult, and I can see now it has started from part 1. Okay, so how is part 1? Part 1, thankfully, is very, very, very easy. Paper 1 and paper 2 both have SVA. SVA is what? Multiple choice question. So they are just like our Kaun Banega Crorepati. So you have a question and you have 5 options, unlike 4 options in KBC. So you have 5 options there and 1 question there, and you have 100 questions in paper 1, 100 questions in paper 2. Okay. Yes. Now there have been questions about the same thing, that what are the subjects that will come in paper 1 and what are the subjects that will come in paper 2. Though they have given in the site that there are few subjects that will come in paper 1, they have never maintained it. So never go by that. You have anything can come in any paper. So you may have statistics coming in paper 1, you may have anatomy coming in paper 2. And last year, paper 2 was all about statistics and the guidelines. So if you are going to give your January exam, I would say that yes, you have to focus on your guidelines. So even if you don't get a slot in the January exam, if you start reading your green top guidelines, you'll realize that it will help you in your practice, and whenever you're giving your exams, Green Top guidelines are, you'll never be able to finish it also because they're around 70 to 80. So even if you decide on taking one guideline at one point of time, you'll still take 2 to 3 months to finish your guidelines. So please start from now. Start reading the guidelines which you feel are important for your clinical practice. They will cover your part 1 syllabus. Don't worry. So before, we only used to write theory books and SBA, but now yes, recalls and guidelines are also important, though the recalls have reduced in number, but yes, they still come. So you still have 20-30% of questions coming from the same subject that they have asked question on. But yes, now the guidelines have increased. Now these are the questions that you always keep on asking. What are the books? So these are the books. The first one is the Royal College book. That is a textbook kind of book. Okay, so you may go through that. The second one is Philip Bennett, which is there since I gave my part 1. So that is a standard book since then. The third book is new to me because I did not have it in my part 1. But yes, it is again a good book, and it is Oxford Specialty Training book, so which is something which is recommended by RCOG. So you should go for that. And the last one, of course, you should be going for that because it is the Oxford Revision Notes, the most important book. Okay, these are the books. I will be sharing all the books. Don't worry at all. Okay, I'll be sharing all the books. I'll be sharing the recalls. I'll be sharing you as much as possible the study material. Don't worry about that. TIMCARD is the first one that you're seeing in blue. So that was important when I gave the exam. But the reason why I kept it, it has only true and false. So it doesn't have, before the format was of true and false, now it is completely SPA. So now you don't have to focus on TIMCARD. But yes, TIMCARD is good for the sake of concepts. So sometimes when you finish reading all the books, when you are done with 400 SBA, the second book that I'm talking about, and you are done with the Andrew Sizer, there is another book, Dr. Ankush book that has come up, but I'd never had a chance to read it because it was not there at my time. But I people tell me that these 3 books are good for part 1 now. But yes, the first 2 books I have gone through them and they are good. So that time we always had a lack of questions at that point of time, question banks. So we used to go through TIMCARD. If you have time, go through that. TIMCARD is very, very, very much recommended, and the first book that you'll see in the recommendations of the RCOG list for part 1, but it is outdated. Yeah, but I would still say do not keep it out of your hand. Just let it be there, and when you are done with your work, you may just go through it, the TIMCARD. Okay. Now recall, you need to do at least last 3 years recall, not 5 years. Allow at least last 3 years. Of course, if you have time, if you're giving exam the next 6 months, you may finish last 5 years recalls. Yeah, and the summary of Green Top guidelines, which of course I'll be giving you in the course. Yeah, so I know that Green Top guidelines is something that nobody can finish. So what we have done is we have made a gist out of all the guidelines and the summaries of them. Some of the summaries are also shared on the YouTube. So you may also go through the YouTube, uh, my YouTube channel, so that you can find out all the Green Top guidelines are summarized there in 15 minutes, 30 minutes session. So in spite of you yourself reading the guideline for 3-4 hours, if you are having lack of time, you just go through because many of the important guidelines are shared there. A practice group is very, very, very important, guys. Remember that however you study, we are not in a college now. We are all individuals. We have our own practices. We have our own if you're married, you have your children, you live in a different country, you may not be in touch with people who are still giving the exam, and for those, a group is very important. So always keep yourself in one or the other group, because you will get updated of the new books, you'll get updated of the recalls, you'll get updated about the changes in the exam patterns. So please keep yourself attached to one or the other group. Please keep a study partner if you can. So because that's the only way that can keep you going after you have finished your degree. So practice group is very important. Now coming to the course, the main reason why, as I said, you should be taking course is for the guidance, right? On what is important and what is keepable. Because if you go through the list, you will find, if you go on Google and search part 1 books, it is a never ending list. Okay, so you should be knowing what all to read and what not to, what you can skip. In the course, we'll be having live classes every week. We'll be having module wise tests. We'll be having a practice group which will be different from a free group. Study material, as I already said, all the recalls, all the books, and all my notes will be shared in the group. There'll be 2 mock tests at the end, like we had a free mock test in the free group. So there'll be 2 mock tests, and you will not be left alone after your part 1, because I know that many of you are going to pass your part 1 in the very first attempt very easily. But the main reason why course is important is because you will be taken forward to part 2 and part 3, even if you are not there in my course for part 2 and part 3. You will be still guided, okay, for part 2 and part 3. So I'll be still giving you the study material for part 2. You can still ask me the questions for part 2 and part 3. This is your schedule if you're giving the exam in January. Anat, Biochem, Physio, Pharma. You can take a screenshot of it if you want to. Okay. So we'll be having live sessions. The sessions would not be more than 2 hours, because I don't believe in giving sessions for more than a time period after which no one in the world can concentrate. So I know people start losing concentration after having a session of 1.5 hours. After that, it starts becoming boring. So maximum sessions would be 2 hours maximum. And after that, it will be a 7-day, all the 7 days would be dedicated to that particular module. So you can have your questions, you can have recalls posted, you can have everything that you want from that module in the group. So we can have a discussion, we can have live chats even in the group itself. There can be audios and videos that will be shared, just like we shared in the free group. Yeah, someone asked if there is any source for recalls. There's no, the source for recalls is only, see, the candidates who give the exam keep just write down the questions that they remember. So I would say that recalls is something that is very subjective matter. So I may say that this was the question that has come, and someone else would say that no, the question asked actually something else. But recalls are important just to know what they ask questions on. So do not focus much on that. I would say that that is the last thing that you should keep an eye on. After you have finished your theory books, after you have solved your SBA questions and the question banks that I just spoke about, after you have done that, then you take out your recalls and find out what they ask questions on. And the recalls, the source, as I said, I'll be sending you the recalls. Don't worry about that. There are some recall papers that are there and that have been going on in many of the groups. So I'll be sending all of them to you. Don't worry. Okay. And those who are taking up the course, of course, the recalls will be Now that is completely on the candidates. If you all respond, we can have the questions. I started recalls in the free group too, but after some point of time, there was not much response. Maybe because of the pandemic, I can find out that many of the candidates who were giving answers were caught up, and many of the doctors are now falling. Uh, they are now COVID positive, and which is very unfortunate, and they are losing the focus. Some of them are not able to give the exam even after booking. So maybe that's why the activity was stopped. Otherwise, in the last 1 month, we always have a recall session, whether it's in the free group and in the course. Of course, the recall questions keep on coming every now and then. So every week, the recalls are taken up at the end of the module. Okay, sorry for that. So the course starts on 26th of September, and for the